Warning! This program contains irrefutable facts, unapologetically biased opinions, and shameless homerism for the Southeastern Conference and its teams. Misguided fans of other leagues and teams may find some of the information in this broadcast to be disillusioning, deflating, or even offensive. You've been warned. Kip, Terry, Tony, Legend, Case, and our special guests, we own the airwaves. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. on Jocks 94.5. It's game time. Saturdays, 10:30, ABC 3340 television. Get ready for the SEC on ABC and get in the starting lineup. And on Sundays, 9 a.m. on Jocks, it is Kip and Terry after a great day of football, the morning after. Football weekend, total information domination.
Welcome back to the fantastic week of the starting lineup. We have another special K on the show today in the starting lineup. It's Kip
another
Keefer.
K.
It's Case Keefer. It's Kai Gregory. It's Tony Curry. And now Dr. Josh Claypo.
Welcome, Doc. We're glad to have you. We're long overdue.
Sports, no doubt. We've needed you for a long period of time, and my apologies for not having my good friend.
And this entire crew needs your services.
We really do.
I'll do my best.
We do this thing called Curry and Claypo, and of course now I have Keefer and Curry. I'm just tagging on to anyone with a K.
Live therapy on live TV.
Yeah.
How about that?
And he is the psychologist of the sports heroes, and of course our sports fans that
Both.
try to figure it out. Yeah, fan.
I'll do both.
And we have a fan called Legend who will be in there a little later on. You're going to be getting in his cave.
I'll do my best.
It's going to be something very interesting.
The Legend Cave. Now, that's an ominous assignment.
Our lineup of games today: Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, top of the hour; Oklahoma, Alabama. Someone may pick that game.
Oh, Nelly.
In our bankroll contest, and also Texas, Georgia later on today, right here on ABC 3340. The first of all, I get into the psychology of sports, more so now than probably ever. Psychology is so important to our sports figures, particularly after the Marshawn Nealon situation. Apparent suicide at the age of 24, the defensive end for the Dallas Cowboys. But we've gone from Kevin Love, Simone Biles. We can go into celebrity them with Robin Williams, Chris Cornell, a guy we saw one of his last shows he did in Tuscaloosa before he took his own life. But just talk about how it's changed so much just over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The need for it hasn't changed in decades and decades. I mean, and athletes have used sports psychologists for decades and decades. I think what you're seeing now more, and this is one of those tragic cases, is it's more prominent. It's people are talking about it. We have coaches talking about it. We have the athletes themselves talking about it. And as I was thinking about it, when you hear these absolutely tragic cases where he was literally playing 1 to 2 weeks before. He had a history of mental health problems, but even that wasn't completely clear to some of the people who were closest to him.
How about that?
On the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Obviously his family. Text messages that after the police pursuit. Okay. So sports psychology and mental health in situations like that, players who are depressed or have an anxiety disorder or whatever, absolutely needed and critical, obviously can even save lives. But the other piece I think a lot of times we don't talk about or we don't equate the two is athletes who use psychology to enhance their game.
Yeah.
I think we always have to talk about both. I always see myself talking about one or the other, how to give an athlete the edge or God forbid, how to help them with depression.
We'll talk about that a little later on, talking about the yips. We talk about getting in the zone. It's all psychology, and we're going to give you some secrets about that in just a few seconds. I just wanted to talk briefly, though, about the stigmatism that comes with, I remember I was talking to Kip before the show. We were talking about Dick Vermeil. Remember Dick Vermeil always in tears? It's like, dude, why are you always crying? Coaches shouldn't cry. There's no crying in baseball. What are we doing here?
We saw Dirk at the Auburn coach weeping openly at the press conference.
We saw the Michigan coach doing it.
A couple years ago.
And it's just one of those things where you think to yourself, okay, we saw Chris Cornell sing his last song on stage in Tuscaloosa, and less than 6 hours later, he was dead from apparent suicide. And you think to yourself, you just walked off stage in front of 15,000 people and you're as high as a kite. How could you possibly be depressed? Explain how that works.
Well, so I think a couple things. People who are suffering from a mental health condition, whether it's depression or anxiety or substance abuse, it doesn't mean every minute of every day they're completely incapacitated. Mm-hmm. They're not in bed. They do go out and perform. They do get on TV. They do go play on any given day. It's what happens in between, it's what happens when they get home at night. It's those kinds of things, and I think, and that goes for mental health in general. I think the other thing that is just so important that we have to say this: we are never going to get to the place we need to go with this in sports if coaches, coaching staff, not only they're doing a good job of saying we've got a sports psych, you can go talk to them. Mm-hmm. This has got to change to the point where it is, this is a part of what we do here. Yeah. This is a part of what we do, because no matter how great the sports psychologists are, and there are many good ones, many great ones, if a coach and the coaching staff doesn't make that a part of what you do in a formal way, a player's playing for the coach, not playing for the sports side.
Yeah. Kip?
Fascinating. Because people say to me, the reaction is, the young man from the Cowboys last week, he's an NFL player. He's making all this money. He's in the spotlight. How can this happen? I think people forget these are just people like everybody else, but they've just been elevated in different circumstances.
Yes, and what we would say is that elevation actually puts you at greater risk.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Right? Because you can have the money to go see a sports psychologist or a psychologist. They've got that. But the media scrutiny, the pressure of being able to perform in their job, and if they don't, that hits their pocketbook, everybody watching them, all those things. And I think one of the greatest problems about being a psychologist is because of confidentiality, I can't tell you that, all the people that you see out there, I know a bunch of them that are
You see it all the time. And you talk about the highs we get from sports. We talked to a lot of NFL guys. Aldo Greco, my good friend, he's like, I remember what it used to be like on Friday nights, hearing those crowds. And I know what it felt like on Sunday nights. And all of a sudden that's gone after being in the league for 20 years. You don't get that dopamine rush, that adrenaline you used to have. And everyone's like, well, shouldn't that be high enough? No, because you're used to being at that level. Yes. And all of a sudden you're sitting at home with your 3 grandkids, which is great. But you don't have 30,000 people applauding your next kick. Talk about that just a little bit.
So one of the hardest things to handle just for us as humans is dramatic shifts in our emotions, right? And so when you're in front of 10,000 people, or if you're performing or you're doing your job and you're kind of in that zone, when you're done, there's always a giant emotional drop off. Now, not everybody becomes depressed or anxious, but for those people who that is the way they're kind of wired, that drop off is huge.
It's the way you feel after the show, Kip.
You're
at this, you're way up here, baby.
When I'm sitting around at 10 o'clock at night watching my 5th straight episode of a Big Bang reruns by myself in the dark, I feel that way sometimes.
You are on any given week on multiple radio stations, multiple television stations.
Every week.
An adrenaline high. You know what it feels like.
Oh, yeah. I can relate to this.
Yeah, and you get home, and next thing you know, and I've certainly been on enough stages to know how.
And I have no grandkid. They're 3,000 miles away. So
there you go. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, Josh, that's good stuff.
Appreciate it.
As always, and of course, we're going to keep you out here. We want to put you in the Legend Cave. Will you go in the Legend Cave today?
Yes, sure. I literally know.
Legend needs no psychological help.
One for the books.
But he might need some advice on what to tell his Alabama team going into this big game.
Is he going to shame and humiliate me?
He may try it. Maybe the other way around. We've got a whole host of great games today. Notre Dame, Pitt right off the bat, of course, Alabama and Oklahoma a little later on this afternoon, Texas and Georgia later on tonight. We're going to have our bankroll contest. What else we got? Case Keefer, of course, from the desert. It's going to be a fantastic show. You're watching.
I'm going to give you the top 12 best teams.
There you go. It's coming up here shortly on the starting lineup.
Hey, everybody. Kip Keefer Sports with our weekly feature, the Dynamic Dozen, the best 12 teams in college football. And that's what the Clown Show in Grapevine is supposed to give you. By mission, they are supposed to pick the 12 best teams not the teams that are the best storylines, not the teams that are deserving, not to balance out the conferences to make everybody feel good, the 12 best teams, and that's what we bring you here on Kip Keefer Sports. The big news is there's no news. The 12 teams we selected last week are still the 12 best teams in America because only one of them lost this past weekend. That was BYU, and they lost to a surging Texas Tech team that's already on the list. So BYU survives, although they dropped closer to the bottom. We're not going to rank them by numbers yet, but a few of them have tenuous spots in the poll. So let's start with the best teams, 5 of them from the Southeastern Conference. They are, of course, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma right now, 5 of the 12 best teams, with a couple SEC teams kind of lurking just off the pace, including Texas, Vanderbilt staying alive as well. Let's go to the Big Ten, 2 solidly in. Ohio State and Indiana, despite their scare against Penn State. Oregon kind of hanging by a thread. They barely beat Iowa by just 2 points. So maybe that could be a team that would fall out with another bad performance. They face USC at home coming up soon. Also, the ACC, Miami is the team right now in the ACC, the only one on the list, although they may not even play in their championship game. Some upheaval in the ACC this week with Louisville and Virginia both losing, but it looks to me like Miami is still one of the 12 best teams. They might have one of the 12 worst coaches, but they are one of the 12 best teams. Also, you've got Notre Dame. Yes, they lost their first 2 games, but Notre Dame keeps rolling right along, and there's no question they're one of the best teams in the country, and Miami beat them in the opening weekend. And of course, we go to the Big 12. I talked about Texas Tech. They and BYU are still in contention in that top 12. So that rounds it out for this week. No change, but we'll see what happens next week when we get together again, and we'll compare what the committee comes up with in Grapevine as we continue this process every week with the Dynamic Dozen.
The Birmingham Racecourse Casino turns dreams into reality. Like Roger M., who just won over $51,000. And Rebecca, celebrating a life-changing jackpot of $160,000. You could be the next to dance the Icky Shuffle with a big win.
Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! I'm a winner! I'm a winner! Woo! And you can be a winner too!
Don't miss your chance to be our next big winner at the Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
You fail to realize the greatness of the SEC when you describe these scenarios where the committee realizes that an Alabama gets more street cred than maybe a Georgia Tech or a BYU or a, I mean, you have to look at it. If it's head to head, the team with the brand name going to get it every time, brother. That's just the way it is.
So a hood translation would be, we're going to put the team in that's going to generate a little bit more revenue. That's what you're trying to say, Les?
Exactly. You don't put the Bee Gees on when the Rolling Stones are in the locker room ready to go on stage. You don't put Fleetwood Mac up on stage if Led Zeppelin wants to go on. It's a matter of who the folks really want to see, brother.
Man,
there's a difference.
Hey, welcome to the Legend Cave. I am the legend, the 5-time Paul Feinbaum Caller of the Year. And finally, after all these years of searching, Tony Curry and Kip Keefer has finally found a psychologist that might can help the legend. Tell everybody who you are in Birmingham, brother.
I'm Dr. Josh, and I'm going to do my best for you.
All right, finally, I got somebody to help the legend. This past week on the Feinbaum Show, I went over the edge. I just started cussing uncontrollably. They hung up on me, and 10 minutes later, I was still cussing on my phone, thinking about the Alabama running game. Somebody said, Doc, I got too much Bama in me, Bear. I got too much Bama in me. Can you help me with my condition, brother?
No, I actually can't, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, Lord, I thought Tony
I'll tell you
Curry was going to
why.
help
You
me.
need medication. You need medication
Mike
bad. And
Tyson!
I'm a psychologist. I can't write prescriptions. You need a lot of medication.
A lot of medication.
No, yes, you do.
Is that your Keefer?
No.
Is that what you're going to tell the
No,
patient?
no.
Somebody give me some drugs. Is that what you're telling the
If
patient?
you don't want that, then you know
I'm
what?
not saying I don't want
No,
that.
listen,
I'm just saying if you subscribe it where I can actually take it without going to jail now, I'd be willing to go into some experiments. I need some help, brother. I got too much bama in me.
Let me ask you, how do you feel right now? Right now, sir.
Right now, I feel pretty good right now, you know. I got my championship ring and I got the new game
That's
day
right.
hat, you know, and
That's
I'm
right.
hanging out with Tony Curry. I feel all right. But if Alabama goes up and hits that line Saturday night and don't give but 1 yard, I'm gonna go off again. I got too much Bama in me.
But that Bama can be used for good or bad.
How so, Doc?
Well, you think what you're doing right now, right? Same amount of energy, and the only difference is when Bama's not doing well, right? Then you take that energy and you just, what do? You cuss, you throw things,
I've done had went through 8 TVs this
You
year.
told me a little bit about your marriage.
Hey,
all
I
that
hate
kind of
that you
stuff.
brought that up.
Okay,
Man.
so
you're supposed to be helping me, man. I
here's-
might go off the deep end after
here's
the
what I
show.
tell-
I might go off the deep end. Bear, who brought Tony Curry? Oh, there, go ahead, Doc.
Here's what I tell my high intensity athletes, and I consider you an athlete. I mean, this is what you do.
That's what I do.
Okay.
That's who I am.
You need to take that intensity to the absolute edge, and in that moment where you feel like you're losing control, because you do
A lot.
That's right. That is when you take that one pause. Tony Curry told us, you take a beat. You take a beat. That's it. Even that. No, that's it. No more than that. Because you know what that does? That keeps you right.
I just seen Bill Curry, though, dog. I just
See?
seen Bill Curry.
That
For
keeps
some
you-
reason,
all right,
when I
take
close my eyes, I see Mike Shula.
Take the breath.
All right.
Take that breath.
All right.
That's it.
I'm
See?
back. See? I come and go.
You see, but that's
I
it.
come and go.
That's what a lot of athletes don't understand. It's not on or off. It's you getting yourself right to the edge, and then you pull yourself back.
Pull
so
yourself
that you
back.
stay at that high level.
Now, what happened in my marriage is I seen Nick Saban's fat head on this fat head commercial.
Yes.
And I just love Nick Saban. I mean, if he was a
Okay.
woman, I would marry him. So I seen all these Nick Saban fat heads, so I bought 6 of them
No
and
problem.
put all over my bedroom. And after a month, my wife said, "Baby, it's either me or Nick."
And you.
I said, "I hope we can remain friends, baby. I really hope we can remain friends, but Nick ain't leaving. Nick ain't leaving, and now she's in California, Doc, and Nick left me. Nick left me. Why did Nick leave me? I gave up my wife for Nick, Doc. Can he help me? You see the problems I have, deep problems, Doc.
Did you make a mistake? Did you actually make a mistake, or did you choose to do
No, I'm more happier with
Yeah,
it.
you see, that's exactly what I thought. That's exactly.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. I
All
love
right,
you,
take that
Doc.
breath.
Finally,
Take
you
that
helped
breath.
me,
Take that
Doc.
breath. Take that breath.
Hey, we've had a lot of fun here today. We hope Alabama beats Oklahoma this weekend. We always have fun here. But on a serious note, if you think about hurting yourself today, just sit down. Learn to love yourself. Look at me. I'm ugly, toothless, man. I don't care. I love the legend, man. Love yourself, whatever. Don't listen to all the negativity in life. Tell them something, Doc, before we get out
There
of
is
here.
always help out there. There is always help out there, whether it's 211 or 911. There is always help. And if you don't reach out for help, then nobody can help you.
Hey, remember, it's just a game. Don't be like the legend. Plum Sports Insane.
Hey, it's Case Keefer back again with another edition of the Vegas Heaters. I'm a longtime sports bettor and sports betting writer for Greenspun Media Group, which includes Las Vegas Sun and Las Vegas Weekly. I always like to do things a little bit differently in this segment, and we may have found a new niche last week. 4-0, breaking down the 4 biggest SEC college basketball games of the week. I know the rest of the guys have you set on college football, so I thought we'd stick in college basketball a little bit. Loved Alabama at St. John's. I said bet +3 or better. We could get as high as 6.5, and never in doubt they won that game easily. Then I said lay it with Gonzaga against Oklahoma. No problem there. The Sooners looking a little rough. Also kind of struggled with Arkansas Pine Bluff, one of the worst teams in the nation in their next game. The other 2 games, Michigan State, Arkansas. That one was more of a coin flip, but I was on Michigan State, and I think they won for a lot of the reasons I said. Tougher, more physical, willing to get those hard baskets, so Michigan State got that one. And Vanderbilt is the team to look out for in the SEC. Absolutely blew out UCF. Kept it rolling again against Eastern Kentucky. They look really good. Now, of course, for the college basketball slate, we don't have a whole week to marinate up on the lines like we do in college football, so I kind of have to project ahead at the time of recording. Not as many great games in the SEC this weekend, but there are 3 that I thought we could break down starting Saturday at the Sanford Pentagon in South Dakota. What's going on at the Sanford Pentagon the last couple of years? So many college basketball games there. Maybe that's something I should investigate on my own time. Anyway, we have Nebraska and Oklahoma, and I know I just put down Oklahoma, but I am going to flip totally around here and be on the Sooners. Honestly, I would probably be on whoever was getting points in this game, but I tend to think it is going to be the Sooners, kind of a semi-home game, going to be a pro-Nebraska crowd. And I bet you didn't know the Cornhuskers, the nation's longest current winning streak. They've won 7 straight games dating back to last year when they won the college basketball crown here in Las Vegas down the street at MGM Grand Garden Arena. I just think these two teams are very similar. They both play a kind of NBA-style pace, shoot a lot of threes. I think Fred Hoiberg for Nebraska, a really good college coach, didn't really work out in the NBA, but I think Porter Moser, a really good coach with Oklahoma too. I think the talent is about equal. I just think there's a lot of variance, so I would take points whatever way. I think it's going to be more Oklahoma, so I would take Oklahoma like +3, even +2.5 range. Give me Oklahoma. Now Sunday we have a pair of even bigger games. Houston and Arkansas, the rematch, where really when I knew Arkansas was for real last year, I think it was their second or third game, they went to the big arena Houston, so it was only semi-neutral, and they took it to the Cougars in a way that not many teams do. But that was last year. This is this year. I'm sorry, everyone down there, but I believe this game is in Birmingham. I think Houston comes to Birmingham, gets some revenge for that. I just don't, the continuity's not there. The experience isn't there with Auburn. Houston plays better defense than anyone in the country. Give me the Cougars. Now, later on Sunday night, we have Florida and Miami. Florida's looked kind of rough, just like I said last week. I was looking to take shots against them in the SEC. Haven't covered a single game yet. Escaped against Florida State. Lost here in Vegas to Arizona. Didn't cover against North Florida either, but I think this is where they get their first cover. Miami has honestly probably looked better. They've played no one, but pretty good under new coach Jai Lucas. But, you know, you look at what they're going through. They want to get those easy baskets, the baskets on the inside with Ernest Uday and Malik Renault, 2 names people that watch college basketball certainly are familiar with. That's just not going to work against Miami, against Florida, excuse me. I feel like the Gators are better inside. This is how they're built this year. I really like the matchup for Florida. So lay the 9, 10, even up to 10.5, whatever that is, with Florida. Now, finally, the bankroll segment went 2-1 last week. Going to shoot for the 3-0 this week. I'm going to go back to college football this week because I have strong thoughts on 2 of the bigger games. Let's start with a team that's always come through for me in this segment. Notre Dame has either won 2 or 3 times for me. I'm going back to them again. I bet 10.5. 11.5 now. Lay the 11.5 with Notre Dame against Pittsburgh. I don't think Pittsburgh has quite encountered a team this good, especially on defense. Give me the Irish. Other side of the country, BYU, TCU. I've been skeptical of Brigham Young all year. Bet against them last week. I think it's kind of a bubble burst spot now. I know they're fun to watch. They play physical. Kind of like what Bear Bachmeier's done. But I think TCU at their best is still the second best team in the Big 12. Now, they're not going to be in the Big 12 championship. They've had a lot of no-shows, including last week against Iowa State. But I think they're more buttoned up today. They get it done +6.5 against BYU. 1 NFL game to sign us off. I will go with the Minnesota Vikings laying 2.5 against the Chicago Bears. I think we've seen J.J. McCarthy get better. They beat them in week 1. They do it again. So Vikings, TCU, and Notre Dame for me in the bankroll picks. Let's see what everyone else has.
Welcome back to Starting Lineup along with Kip Keefer, Tony Curry, the legend in the middle here. Our bankroll picks coming up here in just a few seconds. Tone the Bone 2-0, catching up to the old brothers here, the Legend Brothers. We got a tight little mask going on. So
$50 behind.
We'll get to those in just a few minutes here. I want to mention, of course, our great sponsors, Southern Precision Staffing. You've seen Kai Gregory on this show. He'll probably join us in the next couple of weeks. We're getting near the end of the college football season. 205-682-2828, 205-682-2828 for any of your staffing needs. It is SPS, Southern Precision Staffing, and also our good friends at Sasquatch Toys and Comics. It's getting time for the Christmas holidays. They have over 300,000 comics right there, Citation Lane in Homewood. Seth, this entire crew do a bang-up job. You're looking for any toy, Legos, or anything else, check out Sasquatch Toys and Comics. Let's start with a Kip Keefer and our bankroll. What you coming with this week, bro?
Dude, the caboose. I'm in the back of the pack. I've had an embarrassing year, and I have to make a public apology and an admonition of my stupidity of trusting the Florida Gators last week at Kentucky. They didn't show up. That game should have been considered a forfeit. There was not one guy in uniform that had any desire to be in Lexington. My public apology. All right, I'm going to go up to the frigid north in Yankeeville this week. I'm not doing very well in the south, so I'm going to go to Northwestern. They are playing in the windy city of Chicago. They are hosting Michigan, who is overrated, overhyped, bloated pretenders. Michigan's 12.5-point favorites at Northwestern. Why?
Northwestern is a functional team. They gave USC a pretty good game. I'm taking Northwestern plus the 12.5, and I'm pairing them in my 2-game parlay because I got to hurry up and catch up. I'm going a 2-game parlay. I'm going further north to New York City, as a matter of fact, and taking the Green Bay Packers on Sunday against the Giants. I'm giving up the 7, which I don't like doing in the NFL with a home dog, the Giants, but they are a dog. They fired their coach, Dabble. The Packers have lost 2 straight at home to the Panthers and Eagles. Like Leon Spinks against Ali, and Ali tell him, I got to have it this evening. The Packers have to have it. That's my duo.
I love the idea you're actually going to the Big Ten to get some cash. I love that because I know that you love the Big Ten.
Oh, I can't stand it.
Kai Gregory, Southern Precision Staffing, by the way, one bet, $150, has Alabama's team total over 13.5 in the first half. Again, Alabama's team total over 13.5 in the first half.
Not respecting the Sooner defense.
No, not at all. Who the Legend Brothers got this week?
Well, the Legend Brothers had a rough week last week, but this week we're going to sit back on Saturday, drink champagne and smoke cigars and let these guys battle it out. We're going to give you some NFL picks this week, ladies and gentlemen. The Legend Brothers like the Rams -3 at home against Seattle. We think the Rams are the best team in the NFL behind Matthew Stafford, who went to the University of Georgia in a future stop at the Hall of Fame. We also are going to pair that team with the Detroit Lions plus the 3 points over Philly and Philly on Sunday night. Wow. So we like the Rams -3. We like Detroit, thank you. I couldn't get it out. Detroit +3 Sunday night on a 2-team parlay for the 150.
You know, we originally started this contest as picking 3 games, $50 a piece, trying to keep it friendly. You know what happens? The next thing you know, you start smoking and drinking. Now it's 3 o'clock in the morning and we're throwing cash at each other. We're at a poker table. We're calling the wife. I ain't coming home tonight. I'm in the middle of something.
It's getting heated.
It's getting a little heated up. So I'm going to take it back to the way it should be. I've got 4 games, but I'm only going to pick the 3 at $50 each. Love South Florida -10 against Navy. I think Navy is done. They've been exposed. I think South Florida can get that done. Love a Notre Dame -12.5. That line's moving big time in Notre Dame. I love South Carolina catching 19.5. They lost to 7 by Alabama. They lost by 10 to LSU. They're staying within the number. They're competitive. They're catching 19.5 against the undefeated A&M Aggies. And then, of course, you get Alabama -6. I'm going to throw Alabama out. I'm going to take South Carolina plus 19.5, Notre Dame -12.5, and South Florida -10 at $50.
Boy, you like to cough up those points.
I do. I'm going to cough up those points. And if you've been watching Vegas, the favorites have been coming in quite a bit over the last couple weeks. So we'll see what happens. And, of course, if you look at our winner board, we're all kicking it. Man, we're doing great. We're all getting after it. So I'll continue to watch us here on ABC 3340.
And Case Keefer's a professional. It's not our fault.
It's not our fault.
Go to K4wins.com. K4wins.com. K4wins.com is another website you can check out. We have plays on there. We're hitting over 70% of the year. We're on fire. We have 2 shows. We do one on Tuesday and Friday, of course, at K4wins.com, on our YouTube channel, on Tony Curry Radio, also on the Coastal Sports Digital Network, and also on Audacity. So check out K4wins.com. It's a great handicapping show. You get all of our plays on our website at K4wins.com, K4wins.com. Enjoy your great day of college football. Alabama later on tonight. Texas, Georgia later on tonight. Up next, it is Pitt and Notre Dame. The Fighting Irish right here on ABC 3340.
2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. We have liftoff of Season 9 of The Morning After. Terry Quillian and Kip Keefer at the controls.
Hipster, are we there yet?
On our way, Ter. On our way.